The north of Scandinavia is such a beautiful place to be. It has midnight sun and ice and wilderness, and it kind of gets you away from people, very, very far away from civilization or society. And I thought about that a lot this summer. Because I wondered, is it really about leaving it all behind? Even in the north, the wild and the human share the same space. And maybe that's exactly how it's meant to be. Hi everyone, I'm Eva. I live in Sweden. I've moved here 3 years ago and I am back in my little cottage. I spent some part of the summer in the very north of Sweden. That was so wonderful that I had to share it with you. I don't know, have you ever been to the north anywhere before, like the north of Sweden, Norway, Canada, Russia, Japan, I guess? I think many of those parts are a bit similar in nature and in feeling, I guess. Wow, it's been so long since I talked to a camera. But let's look into what I filmed of those couple of weeks. There in the north, the days never end. The hours blend into each other. The sun doesn't set, and each day is exactly as long as you choose it to be. It was a never-ending turning of one moment into the next, of waking up, taking it all in, preparing the car from sleeping to driving mode, and then traveling. On and on and on. When at home my mind had been full of thoughts, some what ifs, and maybe sometimes a fear or two, it started now to open up a little and let some of it escape to make room for something new. But the funny thing is, even if you are someplace new, you are still the same old you. I brought it all with me. Doubts, hesitations, all that. But this incredible nature there gently, gently takes it all away from you and gives you a place to just be. While traveling in the north, I noticed that my sense of aesthetic, that the word? It's very heavily influenced by how people left their mark. So I think I am very drawn to nature that looks wild and unkept and undisturbed in the way. But of course, nothing really is undisturbed by people, because people have been on Earth many thousands of years, hundreds of years, hundred thousands of years, of course. Oh, it's starting to rain now. So I don't think even in the north of Sweden you can be at a place where no one's been before. So I guess it's not undisturbed by people at all, but I found it very beautiful. And as I said, I've been thinking this summer what wilderness means and being away from people. And I had to move under the roof here. Now I lost what I wanted to say. Yes, I thought about that a lot. And I think it's about control. I think I prefer nature that is not under control of anyone. I think nature that can behave naturally is something I really, really like. And there have been moments this trip, sitting by a river or just looking at the mountains, being there on top of it, where I felt this raw energy of nature, and it didn't exclude people at all. As I said, I sometimes thought that people and nature, like people should be away from nature for nature to be beautiful or something like that. But no, this energy, it was just so wild. It's so different to be at a place that hasn't been formed by people or controlled or just... I feel like I'm not explaining this very well, but those places that feel so secluded on paper, those two already carry memories, many footsteps before mine, more stories than I can ever hear. And still, in this vast nature that no one tries to govern, to change, the moss can still grow untouched. I really think that this thought that there is room for all of us, it gives me so much comfort. And I think many people growing up in cities or urban areas like I did, they grow up in places heavily controlled by humans, and that is very necessary, I guess, and that is this very integral part of our human society, that we like shape the place we live in and that we want to get something out of it, food and stuff, of course. When you grow up like that, it can be very intimidating, this nature that is uncontrolled and untamed, I guess. I don't know why, but I felt comfortable there in an instant. There's this thunderstorm and thunder now behind you. I love that raw energy, but yeah, I know that might be a bit strange, I guess. And anyways, I'm talking too much. I wanted to show you the trip, but those were just my thoughts I had regarding all of this raw wilderness there in the north of Sweden. And on we drove, a bit closer to the mountains each day. Our little car was our bed and kitchen and living room. Look at this view, it is so incredible. Every morning waking up with a new view right at my feet, I found it hard to keep moving. I wanted to watch and dawdle and stay. This was very, very cold, but it's so wonderful. You see those mountains behind me? And this swimming here, I don't know, it made me think of this German, metaphor. When you like go really deep into a topic, when you really like focus on a topic. In Germany we say in das Thema eintauchen, so like dive into this topic. I don't know if it translates to English as well, but this swimming here and always swimming in Sweden and in general always reminds me of this diving in, not only diving into the water, but diving into this topic of nature, this topic of the fjäll, the mountains behind me, and it's so wonderful. I love that. And honestly, it's a big recommendation from me. If you want to experience nature that you really love and you feel very well with the nature, try go swimming there, even when it's not so warm. It makes you really dive into this topic of the place where you are. I love that. Saying goodbye now to this beautiful place. We'll go farther north still. And maybe some words to the accessibility of it all. I think Sweden has done a wonderful job of giving easy entryways into this beautiful nature. There are trails like this that can be reached by car, leading even those who might find it harder to walk close to fantastic sights. There are even trails for wheelchair users that go several kilometers into the fjäll, and they're actually a favorite of mine because they always have those wonderful views. The only thing that is required is a vehicle and the patience to drive literally for days. And of course, for those who do want those adventures, they're right there. You can simply grab your tent, a map and some boots, and just get into it. Vanish for days at a time and go experience it fully. We arrived at our tent spot for the night. We are in the Arctic mountains here in the very far north of Sweden, and it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. I don't think you can imagine. You have to come here and see for yourself. We are standing right next to a snowbank here. It's the summer in the Arctic. Earlier we've seen a snow chicken. I don't know the English word. It's Schneehuhn in German, and this is for me such a polar animal, and there were males fighting for a female, and it was incredible. The intensity of nature is unmatched, and yeah, I'm very happy. I'll go into the tent now. It's raining and there are mosquitoes, quite a few, so I go inside now. And then, after a long day of hiking, just before midnight, we opened the bag on top of our car and unfolded our boat. We started our canoe trip at 10 minutes after midnight and changed our perspective again. This time, we looked at the mountains from their feet, just a couple inches above water level. We moved through their reflections under the midnight sun. Hi everyone! I don't know if you can hear me over the river. We are on the water now, or not really actually.
today's been more a hike than a canoe tour, because we are having to carry the boat around all those whitewater passages. There is much more white water behind us already, and here we have to carry the boat over rocks, snow. It's not easy, but the scenery is amazing, and I think there is a smaller lake coming in front of us, so there we can just go on the water as planned. We are on this lake now, and up there on this edge is the next one.
This trip was a challenge. We got wet, it was cold, I fell barefoot into the snow. It rained icy charts, but how could we not have done it when it was the best canoe trip of our lives? Even Simba didn't lose his good humor, being nicely wrapped in blankets all the time. And then there it was. The last night in the tent. The last morning before traveling back south. Going home. Settling back in, starting life again. I can't wait to go back there to the north. I think I want to spend many more summers and winters up there. But yeah, I'm glad to be here again. There's so much life right now going on. There's a thunderstorm in the background. It's not raining yet. And there are some, I guess, I have no idea. Little dragons is the only thing I can think of. How do you say that in English? I put it on the screen, but there are some of them moving around here in the dry leaves. And there are cranes, is that the word? In the distance. But a piece of my heart, I've left it there. Where the land shelters between mountaintops, where there is a place nestled into the moss, a place where I can be and you can be, where nature simply is. Isn't that something? In winter, when night and snow take over, I'll return.